I'm Doug. Join me as we follow the moon. Today, I want to tell you about not one, not two, but 3 upgrades that we've recently completed on our RV. And I want to start off by letting you know we are not affiliated or sponsored by any of the companies that you're going to hear about today. And in fact, if you've seen any of our previous videos, we have never been affiliated or sponsored with any of those companies. So the first one we wanted to do was an upgrade to our electrical system. Now, when we ordered our Tiffin coach, we ordered it with 3 solar panels on the roof. They're 170 watt panels, total of 510 watts. And they feed 4 6-volt lead acid golf cart type batteries. We wanted to upgrade those batteries for a couple of reasons. If we went to a lithium battery, it was going to be a great weight savings. Even replacing them with the same size, the 100 amp hour, it was going to be 100 usable amp hours per battery instead of about 50 usable amp hours per battery. So with a residential refrigerator that constantly has a draw, it made sense for us. Plus, we're planning on staying in this coach for a while. We're not planning on being out of it in the next year or two. So having a battery with a 10-year warranty and no maintenance required really was a nice plus. So we contacted John Bohannon. John had spent 15 years designing the electrical systems for Tiffin in some of their coaches and fifth wheels. And John represents Battleborn Batteries. Now, Battleborn, as I'm sure you know, has quite the reputation in the industry, and we were great with going with Battleborn. But he also let me know at that time Battleborn was running a sale, and I could get those batteries cheaper from Battleborn than I could get them from him. So we ordered 4 GC2s. Those are the drop-in replacement for the 6-volt golf cart style batteries. And we put them in the back of the car and pulled the car along behind the motorhome up to Red Bay in September. So we've had these in here for a little while so that we can make sure that we were getting out of them what we wanted. John has a mobile RV repair business. And when we got there to Red Bay, we had an appointment scheduled with him, and it was raining. And so he made arrangements the following morning with another service provider there in the Red Bay area to use one of their bays. We met him there with our coach, and I think we were there a total of about 3 hours. And in that time, he swapped out our batteries with all new cabling. He also installed a Victron battery management system, and I'll show you a screenshot of what that looks like. And that lets you know your state of charge of what's going on with your battery at the current time. And it also, he installed a new smart solar controller that was also Victron, the MPPT 100, and installed that to replace the factory installed Jaboni solar controller. Now, our understanding is Tiffin no longer uses that Jaboni unit, and the advantage we had by going both of these units with Victron is they are Bluetoothed to our phones, so we constantly know how much wattage is coming in on our solar panels and what our amp hours are remaining on our batteries. The original Jaboni controller, and I'll show you a picture of it here, only shows the voltage. So we've got a lot more idea over what's going on with our system now. And the Magnum inverter panel also only shows you how much your voltage is on your batteries, whereas now with the Victron it shows us the percentage of the battery that we have remaining. So he took care of the upgrade to our solar controller and took care of the batteries and the battery management system. But John wasn't done yet. It was time to go up on the roof. Now the next update we did was installing the soft start on all 3 of our roof air conditioners. Now soft start is designed to eliminate that hard punch you get in your electrical system when your air conditioner first fires up, turns on the fan, and pushes the extra amperage to get the compressor going. It does it in a couple of steps so that you don't have this strong amperage draw all at once. And it will enable you, like where we are today, we're on 30 amp. So we can run 2 air conditioners instead of just 1. So even the warm Florida days that we have, it sure helps. And you know, there's pros and cons when you have 3 air conditioners. Do you use 2 soft starts or do you use 3? We went with 3 because if the sun is hitting the front of our coach the way we're parked, then I'm going to want my front air conditioner and probably my middle air conditioner to be working. If it's hitting the rear of the coach, I'm probably going to want the rear and the middle working. There may be times I just want the front and the back, so at least this way I have the flexibility of which 2 of the air conditioners I'm running. You can get by and just do 2, and those will be your 2 that you have dedicated to use if you're on a 30 amp setup. We've really, in Florida, never ran into too much issue with finding 50 amp hookup, although we are currently in Florida as I'm filming this, and we are on a 30 amp, so that does happen. But especially as we go up towards the northern states, we noticed 2 of the places we stayed in Tennessee this time were 30 amp, and so it gives us a little bit more flexibility on the hotter days in the cooler areas to be able to keep the coach nice and comfortable. So far, we've liked what they do. If it's done any noticeable positive, it's a little bit quieter when it starts up because it does start it up kind of in 2 steps. So the air conditioning startup is a little bit quieter, but that's really the only thing that we've noticed that way, other than having the ability to run both air conditioners on 30 amp. Now our third upgrade is actually a change in product. Back in the beginning of RVing, we went with a system from RVi called Tire Patrol for our tire pressure monitoring. We did this for a couple of reasons. One, it uses a tablet that has a nice, easy to read display, and it displays all of your tire's pressures at the same time. So at one glance, you could check every tire. With the touch of the touch screen, it would also check every temperature, and they were all on the screen constantly. It also tied in to the brake system we used, the RVi Brake 3, and both would appear on the same screen. Very nice integrated system. Our 10 sensors for our tires were the weak link of that system. Now, we were told when we got it that they had had an issue with a bad batch of sensors. They replaced all 10 of our sensors, as we had tires that just intermittently would stop reading their pressure. We started using this system back on our Georgetown, our gas coach, before we got the Tiffin. We had issues with it on the Georgetown. Some of it, they were saying, could be electrical interference in the coach. We put the system over into the Tiffin. We continued to have issues. We probably, over a 2-year period, had about 40 sensors. The sensors are sealed. You cannot replace the batteries in them. When the batteries go bad, you send my understanding, and we never did this, but you send the sensors back, $10 per unit charge. They replace the battery or replace the sensor. I'm not really sure how that works, and send it back to you. and then you just pair it again to the tablet and you're on your way. Well, they were very good for customer service, and I'll give RVi all the credit. Every time I called them and told them I had another sensor or another 2 or another 3 that had quit working, they'd ask me which ones it was, and they would send me out replacements. And they were very good about that. But it was constantly changing out sensors. We had changed out sensors and had been doing fine for about 2 months prior to our September trip to Red Bay. And the morning that we left, my driver's side front tire on the coach would not read. And the tires are less than 2 years old, but it's still a front tire. And I don't like driving without tire pressure monitoring. So at that point, we felt like we'd given it our all. We'd given them opportunities for 2 years to take care of it. We'd set everything back at one point. They replaced the hub unit, which is what rebroadcasts the signal from the tablet up front all the way back to the toad. And we've moved it to different positions. We never could get a situation that worked, and replacing the hub didn't help at all. But with that said, we decided it was time for a new system, and I asked quite a few people. I put a question on several of the forums on Facebook. What system do you use? Do you like it? Would you buy it again? And the overwhelming #1 choice was from TST. So we went with the TST system for our tire pressure. We have been using that. It actually was shipped into Red Bay while we were there, so we put it on. We've been using it ever since. We've never had a sensor drop off. It has alerted us to pressure variances. We had a couple very cold days. More variances obviously on the lower pressure tires on the toad, but it alerted us when the pressure was low. We brought the tire pressure up. Then as we got back into the warmer weather, it alerted us when those were too high. So it's done its job. It's done it flawlessly. The display on this, we got the unit with the color display. It shows you the temperature and the pressure for each tire around the coach, does those 6 and then does the 4 on the toad. It does not put them all on the screen at the same time, and that's one thing I do like better on RVi's system. But with that said, this one has worked flawlessly. It's also made so that when the batteries die out in time, they can be taken out and replaced, and they also send extra O-rings to make sure that you've got a watertight seal on them. They send extra O-rings with those. So I have no complaints on this. The flip side of this on RVi is now we're not using that large tablet that we once had for our brake system, but the Brake 3 works independently of that tablet. So we can still use our brake system without the tablet cluttering up the dash. And now all we have is the small TST unit that I put down low on the left side of the steering wheel. So it's easy to see as I'm going down the road. It's got a glare guard on it. That's also offered as an option. When we purchased it, it was included in the package, and makes it very easy to read. Yeah, I do have to glance down a little bit more. I just want to see where my tire pressures are. I know the alarms are there to save it, but I want to know where things are at as we're going. So that's our 3 big upgrades. If you have questions on any of the products that we've talked about or any of the installations, please leave us a note in the comments. We'll be glad to get you the information you're looking for. Again, we'll give you John Bohannon's information. He does specialize in Tiffin coaches, but if you don't have a Tiffin unit, feel free to give him a call and see if it's something that he can help you out with also. Most of the guys in Red Bay are booked several months out. I think he's booked about 3 to 4 months out. So if it's something you're interested in, give him a call. He's a great guy, does tremendous work. Cannot recommend him highly enough. With that said, if you liked our video today, please leave us a thumbs up. We appreciate it. If you haven't already subscribed, be sure to do that and ring the notification bell so you'll know when each of our new videos are coming up. And thank you for following us as we follow the moon. Thanks for watching today.
If you haven't already, please subscribe to our channel.
And be sure to ring the notification bell so you'll know when new videos come out.
Don't forget to follow us on social media too.